Today we're here to demonstrate the DVD that we sell online. This will be the actual DVD to get. We put the DVD in and it's getting ready to load up. As you see in the flashing button on the left hand corner. There's the boot from CD. We hit CD because this already has an operating system on it. If you didn't have an operating system on it, we go right to the Windows loading files. And this will take a few seconds and it'll load this up, load up all the information, and come to the next window where you would select to install operating system. This is a full install, it's not an upgrade, so we're going to wipe everything clean on our hard drive that's on there now. Alright, that didn't take too long. This computer's pretty fast, so it should go pretty long, but this whole video probably will take about 20 minutes. We'll be starting and stopping it at certain points because of times. It takes a couple hours to put an operating system on. Well, it takes an hour to put Windows 7 on, but we may put Windows 10 on this, which will take a couple hours with 1 hour on each operating system. And now we're at the blue screen. Alright, now we got this first window. It's going to ask you your language, which this is an English version. It'll only have English and only in the United States. Well, it does have all the languages on it. I never even looked at that before, but it does have all the languages on it, but we're going to United States English. Hit next. And you hit install. Alright, the first window you come to is just going to tell you which operating systems you got, which operating system that you want to put on. There's a Home Basic, there's Home Premium, Professional activated, Ultimate activated, and Enterprise activated. These are all 64 bits. If you have a 32-bit computer, this will not work. It will stop you before you put it on there. And now the one that says x86, this is a 32-bit operating system. You can get Windows 7 Starter, Windows 7 Home Basic, Windows 7 Home Premium, Windows 7 Professional activated, Windows 7 Ultimate, and Windows 7 Enterprise. Which the one we always go with and the one we recommend is Windows 7 Professional. But we have a 64-bit computer with 3 gigs of RAM and a 40 gig hard drive, so we can put Windows 64 on this. But 64 takes a little bit longer, and we want to do a shorter process, so we're going to take Windows 7 Professional x86, which is a 32-bit. Just click on it and highlight it. You can double click it, it'll probably go to next, but I usually click it, highlight it, and hit next. Next is your service agreement. Of course you're going to agree. I mean, you can read it if you want, but it's just a basic standard Microsoft agreement and license agreement. And then you hit next. Now I could upgrade this. This one has an upgrade or custom. We're not upgrading now, so we're going to hit custom. Now next you're going to look at your drives. Now this is proportioned into 2 drives. Now if you have this proportion or any proportions like this, like 3 or 4 of them, and it says different gigabytes or megabytes, whatever you click on, that's all you're gonna have. So say if you had a 36 gig hard drive and you have a different partitions one would say might say 20 gigs and one might say 16 gigs. If you click on that and hit next, that's all your computer's going to have. You're not going to have more than that. But if you don't have more than 20 gigabytes, this operating system will not install anyway. So what you got to do, or what's best to do, and what is recommended, is to hit drive options. Now you're going to delete these formats, which is going to delete everything on this hard drive. That's why it says the partition might contain the recovery files, system files, or important software from your computer manufacturer. If you delete this partition, any data stored on it will be lost, which means that you're wiping everything out on that drive. Now this one's got stuff on it too, so you delete this one as well. After you deleted this one, it automatically went to the next partition. Now you just delete this, the same way you did the other one. Now they all go into one. Now if you have 3 or 4 drives or partitions there, you want to delete them all into one, and then you just hit next to install. And this is going to take quite a while, so we're going to shut it off here in a minute. But first I'll show you this: copying window files, now expanding Windows files. It's on 0% now, and this will take probably about 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, depending on the speed of your computer. This will take, longer if you have less RAM and less processor speed. It'll take shorter if you have a fast computer. The faster computer, the less time this will take, but it still takes quite a while, even with a fast computer, 20 or 30 minutes. So we're going to shut the recording off for now, and continue when this gets done or almost done. Okay, now that's completed that first part of it, and it's going to restart the computer, which it's doing now. You can see the click and the beep in the upper left hand corner. Then it's going to come up and say boot from DVD. This time you do not want to push that boot from DVD, because it will start all over. You just let it go into Windows. It's going to go right to start in Windows now, because Windows is on there now. You can actually pull the DVD out now and it will finish, because it's loaded all the system files and everything it needs to install the operating system. But I did not remove it. I just left it in there, because I usually just leave it alone once it goes into that last process and wait till it comes on again, because everything's pretty much on its own now. You just gotta stand around and push a few buttons. All you got, when you start up, that's all you gotta do is push in a few buttons and let it go. It's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. And now it's going to set up its updating registry settings and do a few other things here before it restarts into the operating system. Alright, now here's back to where we started from. As you can see, it was copied Windows, expanded Windows, installed features, installed updates. Now it's completing the installation. It went all through these, which took about 20 or 30 minutes. I don't think it took that long on this computer. It went pretty quick, but it's right around 20 minutes. And it's going to complete this installation, and it's going to restart again. This one won't take as long, but it still takes a few minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes. But once it's to this point and it shuts off, you can pull the disk out, and you can pull this hard drive out and put it into another computer if you wanted to that doesn't have a working DVD-ROM, and you can able to install the operating system on there, and it doesn't matter what computer you put it into. It'll still install the operating system because it's already been set up on this one. I'm using an HP computer, but this disk will work on any computer. As you see now, it just picked up the video driver, which means I'm not going to have to install a video card on this because Windows 7 has picked it up and it's made the appearance smaller and more clear. That's what it's doing now. It's completing installation, but it's also getting drivers, finding drivers for the certain things that's on your computer, like mouse, keyboard, Ethernet card for the internet. If you got a dial-up modem, it'll try to pick that up, which in most cases it won't pick up a dial-up modem. Dial-up modems are pretty much obsolete in most places unless you're way out in a rural area. And Ethernet cards, at most of the times, almost about 80 or 90% of the times, it will pick up an Ethernet card. And probably about 50 or 60% of the times it picks up the video card, depending on how old your computer is or how new your computer is. If your computer was made after Windows 7 came out, it won't pick your video card up. You'll have to install the drivers, and we'll get into installing drivers later once the operating system is on there. But right now it's still doing this, and it'll probably take 5 or 10 minutes. So we may shut this off. We've already been on this 5 minutes, so it takes a little longer than I thought it did. But on this computer I have done it before, and it does pick up all the drivers, so I probably won't even need to do anything. Now it's going to restart again. And once it restarts again, it's over. It's done. You just gotta click a computer name and a username. As you see, it's restarting again, and it's got the flashing button in the upper left-hand corner. That means the computer's working. It's getting ready to load. The DVD is still in there, so it's going to say boot from DVD. Make sure you do not push that, because you will start the operating system all over again, which you don't want to do. Now, since I didn't push the button, it's going to go into the operating system. And computer is setup is preparing your computer for first use. And so the operating system is fully installed on here. Now it's going to go through all the system setups, username and computer name, like I said before. And but this takes a few minutes also, so it'll probably be about 2-3 minutes before it restarts again. Well, this time it will not restart. It'll go to the blue screen where you type in all your information. Pretty much this is all over with. All you have to remember is the first part of it. That's when you start. Whether you got a 64 or 32-bit computer. That's what's so awesome about this DVD. As you notice, I have not put any numbers in. I did not need an OEM number, and I will not need an OEM number. This computer is going to install this operating system without the OEM number because it's built into the system. It will activate itself once you go online, or once you turn on the computer. It's going to tell you it is active. So you do not have to do nothing else besides just push a few buttons and wait for the computer. And it's checking video performance. It's going to check the sound performance, check your Ethernet card, and set up for first use, as it says. Alrighty, now we're here. This is the first page you come to. The first thing it's going to ask you is for a username. You have to have a username. It could be any name. It could be your name. It could be your wife's name. It could be your dog's name. It just has to have a username. But since we sell computers, and this computer is not going to be ours, we're just going to put in owner, which Best Buy and most computer stores do. They put in owner or user or something like that. Okay, so now we typed in owner. Now all we do is hit next. Next is type a password in. If you type a password in here, you better remember it, because you will have to have that to get into your operating system. Otherwise, you might have to wipe your whole disk clean again and start all over and lose all the information that you have on it. Well, so since we sell computers, I'm not going to put no password in this. I'm not going to password protect it. So when I turn it on, it'll just go right to the operating system. So all we do is hit next. Next, you have your updates. How do you want to use your updates? Do you want to, it says use recommended settings, install updates, but when you use recommended settings and it installs updates, it's going to install every update that comes out, and some of the updates you don't really need. So I just use the important updates only, and that will install your important updates, the ones that you have to have, not the ones that you just and next it asks you for your time zone, which we're in St. Louis, so we are in the central time zone, US and Canada. And you hit next. Now this is hooked to the computer, so the next is going to ask you, what is this, a home network, work network, or public network? If you hit a home network and this is your first computer, it's going to give you a code that you can type into your other computers to link your computers together in your home network, which I am going to hit home, but this is not the only computer I got hooked up to this network, so it's not going to give me no numbers or nothing. When you got home, you got more flexibility. It gives you more, doesn't give you no restrictions. If you're on the public or you go on the other one, it goes, it will restrict you sometimes on some sites and some personal data. And next, now it's going to install Windows Professional, and it's going to ask you what kind of computer you have. This is kind of optional, but you do have to put something in here, otherwise it will not install. So this is an HP. All you do is just hit the next. It goes alphabetically in order, Acer, Advanced, and all the way down, and we're going down to HP. There's Compact, which I could put Compact because there's really the same company, but this is an HP. I'm going to HP, and you just push apply. Now when I go up to my system properties, it will have a HP's website and their phone number that I can call for help if I needed help for this particular computer, which I have never done before, but it may come helpful to some people. It might call them and sit on the phone for a couple hours, but not me. This is only going to take a few more minutes, and the operating system is going to come on. And again, as you notice, I have not put no OEM number in. I have not put no license number in. This license number is from the factory. It's like you bought a new computer. The new computer comes with the operating system already installed with the factory number, not the number that they give you in the box. And it's going to restart now. Most people don't know it, but the computer, when they buy a new computer, but the operating system is pre-installed by the factory, the manufacturer, by Dell or HP or Gateway or whoever the manufacturer was, and it has one number. There'll be thousands of computers with that one OEM number on it, and that's what this is. It's like it's come from the factory. And now it's back with blinking up in the left hand corner because it's restarting. Again, I have my DVD in there. I still haven't taken that thing out of there, so it's going to ask to boot from DVD. It's going to attempt, because I got my computer set to boot from DVD. You can go into your BIOS and change that so it doesn't boot from CD or DVD, but I always leave it on there in case I do want to boot from DVD. And it is starting Windows now. The next stage, it's going to come right up to the operating system where you are fully installed. Please wait and welcome. Preparing your desktop. This is only going to take a few minutes. It'll be on in a couple minutes here. This is pretty much normal startup on a Windows 7 anyway. Usually takes a few minutes to load up, and they say you wait 5 minutes or use your computer for 5 minutes before you go on the internet or something like that, so it has everything already loaded up and it doesn't slow you down any. So a lot of times I'll turn on the computer and walk away for a little while. And there we go, we had the operating system on. Usually it gives you that jingle, but I don't have no speakers hooked up to this computer, so it's not going to give you that jingle. And as you see, I'm going to go down here to the left hand corner on the bottom. I hit this start menu and go into computer. Now up at the top, here first it's going to tell you your hard drive, which I only have a 40 gig hard drive in there, which is 37.1 gigabytes that you can use. 26.5 gigabytes are free. So that means that our operating system used 11 gigs of memory just for the Windows 7 operating system, period. And there's our DVD. We still have in there. It has 441 megabytes free on a 4.2 gigabyte DVD ROM. As you can see, it's used almost all that ROM, all that CD, all that DVD just for this operating system, because it has all the operating systems on it. Now you just go to System Properties, which is going to tell you Windows 7 Professional, copyrighted 2009, Microsoft Corporation, all rights reserved. You get more features with this new edition of Windows 7. And your system rating is not available right now. And this is a dual core 1.86 RN core, Intel Core 2 Dual, which is after dual core. It's 3 gigabytes of memory. That's RAM. It's a 32-bit operating system. I do not have no pin touch input is available for this display. The display is not a touch screen. Then there you go. There's a Hewlett Packard support phone number. There's a Hewlett Packard. This is when their support times are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you click on online, you will go right to their website if you're on the internet, which this one is. And as I typed in before, my name was Owner PC. The computer name is Owner PC. And at the bottom you can see that down there. So Windows is activated. Product key 00371 and on. And it is genuine. Now you go to your device managers next. You want to see if your driver's all installed. Now on this, if you see any triangles, yellow triangles, and the thing will be open like that, and it'll have a little triangle on it when you pop this up, and then you're going to have to install that. You will have to install that driver. Right now it's wanting me to reinstall updates. As you can see, this one has no, I don't need no, all my drivers were picked up. This is a dual core. This mouse likes to click twice. Display's looking good. Everything looks good. I don't need no drivers. And it wants me to restart because since I put on automatic updates, it's already got it already installed one of my updates today at 9:26 a.m. Okay, I don't want to restart right now. I want to do other things, so I'm just going to click that off. Now I'm going to click this off, and I'm going to go on the internet. Like I said, it's better to wait 5 minutes before you go on the internet so it moves faster. Now the first time we click on the internet, if you got a Windows 8 Explorer, which is going to want you to update stuff, but I'm going to ask you later, which it's still going to open up another window, and it says now updated. It'll ask me again when I open it again. But actually, when you go onto it, when you get on the Windows Explorer, when you first put it on, you'll see here Windows 10, Microsoft recommends upgrading to Windows 10. It's actually asking you if you want to upgrade, which this is what we're going to do next. Computer is acceptable on our operating system that you buy on our website will let you upgrade to Windows 10. And you just click get the free upgrade. This is going to take some time too, because you got to download Windows 10 onto this computer. Then you have to install it, so it takes a little longer. As you see, this will take you to this window, so download now. Just go ahead and click on download now if you want Windows 10, and then run comes up. Run or save, which I'm going to run because I'm going to install it. And you hit run again. Now you're going to have Windows come up and ask you, are you sure you want to download this? And just hit yes. And this process is going to take a while. We're going to wait for it to start downloading, then we're going to shut it off for a little while and continue a little later once it's mostly way through. And it's getting a few things ready. It's also checking your computer to see if you have the system requirements to install this, which on 32-bit you have to have 1 gig of RAM and 20 gigs hard drive. You have to have 20 gigs free on your hard drive in order for it to install. If you don't have 20 gigs free, it will not install. As you see, it's downloading and in progress is 1%. This is going to take quite a while, probably about 30 minutes or so. So we're going to shut off for a little while and continue this video once it's fully downloaded. Okay, now Windows has finished and downloading Windows 10. And it comes up to your first page is always your agreement. You just hit accept. And it says choose getting updates and choose what you want to. Okay. So now it's going to go into checking updates. I'm not sure how long this takes. It's already at 3% though. Jump up to 81% real quick. Now it's going to make sure you're ready to install. In other words, it checks all your system. And makes sure that you got all your drivers and all your system files that you downloaded properly. Takes a few minutes. Now it's checking your hard drive to make sure you got enough space on your hard drive. Like I said, if you don't have, even though I have a 40 gig hard drive, it has to have 20% free. Okay, now it says I'm ready to install. I had enough hard drive space. You won't be able to use this PC while Windows installs. Save and close all files before you begin. To recap, you choose to install Windows 10 Pro and keep all your files and apps. So while you're installing this, it's going to keep everything that you installed on your computer, but everything on my computer is already, I just installed it, so I don't have nothing to save, but it will save it. So you just hit install, and this is going to take quite a while again. Now we're installing Windows 10. This is more of an upgrade. When it finishes, it'll still look like Windows 7 with all the system. It's not going to look like Windows 8, where you're still going to have your start button and all that, and all the files on there. And it's going to take quite a while to complete, so we are going to shut it off for a little while and continue when this gets done. And that's already 6%, but this will take about 20-30 minutes more. So we're going to pause for a little while and restart. Alright, now it's restarted and it's started into the upgrading windows. It's already restarted once, but I missed the restart, but this is where it comes up to. It just has a big number in the middle and it's installed 17%. It'll just take another 20 minutes. Like I said, this takes a couple hours to do. Upgrading to Windows 10 only takes about an hour, and Windows 7 takes about an hour. And we're going to pause for a little while and come back when this is finished installing. Alright, now that's done and it's restarting. As you see, it's coming up to Windows 10's window. And still at 75%. So it has another 25% to go. We'll pause this and wait for it to get done here. Alrighty, now Windows 10 has completed and it's into the welcome screen. This is after it's went through that install with 97% and with that 75%. It restarts and comes to this. Now when this, all you do is hit next. Come to this page, and I'm just going to use Express. And you got Cortana. Use your help guide for Windows. And you can just use Cortana. Now new apps for Windows and Photos, Microsoft, and all that. And just hit next again. Now it's going to install all this. We are happy you're here. I'm happy you're here. This is our DVD at work, getting critical updates. When this loads up, we'll show you where to go to get drivers. This computer won't need none. But you can go to drivermax.com. They love. And you have to download it. They scan your computer and tell you what updates you need and what updates, which ones are more important. Okay, it says welcome owner. It says owner because that's what we typed in on Windows 7. So it's just using our old username. Had you used your name, it would have come up with your name, like Joe or John or whatever you put in as your computer and username. We've updated your PC. All the files are exactly where you left them. Which, like I said, I had no files on this, no personal files, no nothing. I just installed Windows 7. This only takes a few minutes. It still takes a few minutes though. But as you see here, screen gets lighter and darker. We've got some new features to get excited about. Now, if our OEM or product key wasn't right, they would never got this far. As you see, it has got this far. We never had to put a product key in. We just had to install the drive, install the system, and pretty much does itself. You just tell it a couple things about your computer, like it's 32, 64-bit, and what operating system went on. Because if you got a 64-bit, you can put a 32-bit operating system on it. Especially if you don't have 2 gigs of RAM, because you have to have 2 gigs of RAM to install Windows 10 on it. In Windows 7, you really only need 512 megs of RAM to put a 32-bit operating system, and 1 gig of RAM to put a 64-bit operating system on Windows 7. Windows 10 needs a 1 gig minimum on 32-bit and a 2 gig minimum on 64-bit. Let's start. Alrighty, we're done. This is your new system here. As you see, it's like Windows still. You still got that start window down on the corner over there. And you got your speaker, which like I said, I don't have a speaker hooked up, but this does work. And it's got the notifications and its internet access. But up here we want to get to finding our the weather, Twitter, Skype, Video Edge, getting started, snipping tools, window scans, and we're going to hit this folder down here. It comes up with your desktops. And this PC, you can see we only got 18 gigs left of our hard drive now. We used a 40 gig drive and only got 18.3 left. Yeah, it's a lot of space for our operating system. This is why you gotta have a lot more RAM. That's because your operating system takes up a lot more space. And we pulled the DVD out of there so it doesn't show anything in the DVD. And go to computer. And just adjusted my video card. Access properties. You go to properties and you can see again it's a dual core, 3 gigabytes, 32-bit operating system, but it does have a 64 base processor in it. Like I said, we have a 64-bit processor, but we only put a 32-bit operating system on it. And Windows Pro, 10 Pro, and you go down to the bottom. Windows is activated. You're done. This is a fully activated computer. Now you're going to go over here to device managers. Like I explained before, you got to see if it picked all your drivers up, which it should have. Yep, picked up all the drivers on this one. On this computer, you don't have to do anything else. You're done. But installs little stuff like Firefox or stuff like that. But we're going to go to Internet Explorer here. And I'll show you where to get drivers if you don't have drivers. It doesn't pick up your drivers. And you get a search bar. Go to start page. And I don't see the browser up there. I don't see the address bar in Windows Internet Explorer, but you can just type in driver max. And try driver max. As you see, it's down driver max free, which is driver max is free, but you can. Well, when you get the free version, you can only download 2 drivers a day. For every 24 hours, you can download another 2 drivers. You can get the Pro, and you get unlimited drivers. You can download as many as you want. That's a fee. So you just hit next and go to driver max. And there it is, driver max. And make sure you always get driver max. Don't take the top one. That's usually a paid advertisement. As you can see, it says driver max one download IO. But it's probably not driver max original. Now this is driver max the original. You just click on that, and that's going to take you to their website. Now they try to sell you a lot of stuff on driver max, but it is free, so you gotta go to download. Now you can see it's got the free version and the pro version. Let's go down and download the free version. And down at the bottom it says run. You run it, and then Windows asks you if you're sure you want this, download this. That's a security measure. Now you just hit next, and you agree on the first one, agree on the second one, create a desktop. That's up to you, and it installs. Now pick your language. I'm English, so of course let's go with English. Now the first one is Neil's setup. This one you want to decline. Well, you can have it if you want, but you don't need it. So decline. Now you got driver max, and just finish. Now it's going to start your driver max up. First thing you come up to is scan for drivers and updates. If you don't have an internet connection, this won't work though. But just let them scan. This only takes a few minutes, and as you see, it only took a few minutes to download. It's not too painful. But like any free software, they try to sell you things and try to get you to download things. Like that first screen that I declined on, it's just something that pays driver max to have this free, which it helps driver max if you do download it, but I don't have no use for it. Usually don't take this long. Okay, he wants me to try again later. I don't know why. I've never seen that error message before. Of course, I have never used it on Windows 10. Might be only good for Windows 7. Yep, it might not work on Windows 10, but in Windows 7 it works fine. But you might have to go back to the old-fashioned way and go into like HP or Dell and go to their website and try to get drivers from them. They also have a system where you got to download something and it scans your computer and it tells you what drivers you need. It also tells you if your computer is compatible. Well, a lot of times your computer is compatible with Windows 10, but they don't have the drivers for it at the manufacturer. You have to go to a third source that may have it, like Driver Max, or there's some other driver software out there. I always use Driver Max because I know it's free and I know how to use it. But you get the idea. So we're going to go ahead and shut this off and finish the video. Thank you for watching our video, and I hope you buy our disc, our DVD. Thank you.